Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks, here to bring you your weekly market update. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you all to hit the subscribe button. 90% of you take a look at our videos, watch it, and enjoy the content, but do not subscribe. So we think we can get that to a better ratio, and it doesn't cost you a thing. It helps support the channel, and we are doing a giveaway for 200 subscribers. Pretty fancy comic. Go look at the comic content because that's where they talk about the details on that. I'm not super well versed, and so I don't want to misspeak on it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the market update. Pretty interesting things. I think last week we kind of called it. We said that this cooling down that we were seeing across the market may be a short-term thing, which is why I marked it as yellow. Said, hey, let's take a look at this next week. Sure enough, almost everything that cooled down last week has now spiked back up, and it's interesting to note that in most cases it is higher. Well, that one didn't cool off. It's higher than it was before the cool off. So it has actually bounced higher than its previous number in the majority of cases, if not exactly the same. So that's interesting. I don't know that I would call this like a heating up of the market. Generally speaking, it's an uptrend, but it's short term and it's on the back of a drop, so called volatility. Like Rudy likes to say, when the rubber band stretches too far in one direction, it snaps back the other way. This is exactly what we're seeing. It's very common in markets when volatility hits, but it's worth keeping an eye on these things, see how it trends over the long run, what the median ends up being, kind of where it reverts to that mean as it goes up. So let's see where things are. So unlimited boxes, ARC is up, Crew is up, and Mana is up 7, 10, and 13%. Relatively, and we're looking at 102 for ARC, and Crew's at 88, and then Mon is at 67, which returns, both of these return to what they were before the drop. So we're basically just back where we were on a nice little uptrend, historically speaking, over the long term. And then Crew is the one exception. It has popped up to its highest number since I've been tracking, which is nice for unlimited boxes. I have a feeling this is running out. Unlike the other ones that look like they're market volatility, this rebound, this didn't drop last week, and it did go up 10% this week. And if you recall, the print run for Crew was relatively small, and then the unlimited was kind of like a special thing they did because there was so much demand. So when you think about it, I don't think they printed a lot of these because it was kind of a special order situation. And ultimately, it was the favorite. It did go out of print first. So I really do think that this one will lead the way as far as unlimited boxes towards a climb to a more serious number, just because of limited supply, and people do open it a lot. It is a very useful set to have. It has a lot of useful cards, right? I think all the supplemental sets will tend to follow a similar pattern, even though I believe Everfest is printed, much, much more than Crew ever was. I think it's going to have the same sort of effect in the long run because people will want those cards. Now, granted, that's thinking like 2 years from now, right? So don't go out and buy a bazillion Everfest planning it for tomorrow, because it probably won't happen tomorrow, right? It's going to be over time, over the long run. We're going to see the supplemental sets go up because they support more classes, right? All right. Which actually does say something interesting this year because we have 2 supplemental sets coming. So I'm curious how they plan next year. Is it going to be 2 supplementals and then 1 regular kind of draftable set every year, or is it going to switch back and forth like every other year? It's 2 supplementals and then it's 2 draftables and then it's 2 supplementals, something like that. We'll see next year what that looks like, but that will kind of dictate some market trends and things to look for. So we'll find out when we get there. Anyways, cases were pretty flat. Only exception is Tales of Aria. It jumped to 292. Again, it dropped from a 289 and then spiked higher. It's a 13% increase. I'm not taking any of these as special. If it's a blue and then a red, it's basically the mean, right? Just expect it to be sort of the mean. It's volatility based on the 2.0 news and what people thought. Maybe the print run news too, probably playing into it. WTR first edition box. This jumped 18%, almost 19%. This one I don't think is volatility, although we did have a cooling off 2 weeks ago to 38.50, but that has been a pretty common price range historically. So getting to 40.50, and then now 49.98. This is the highest I've seen it since I've been tracking. I know it was higher historically, like it was way up there. But I actually feel this is probably similar to crude. There's just not enough supply. Like the supply is drying up now. And if you go and look, you can start seeing that. You can see that there used to be a lot more volume and a lot more movement on these, and now they're just kind of disappearing. There's not that many on the market anymore. So I suspect they will continue to rise. Now, I'm not thinking 20% a week, right? So keep that in mind. We're talking over the course of a year or two, you'll start seeing a significant rise. ARK cooled off by $125, down 6.7% to 1850. This is probably a pretty good buy because ARK has been pretty hot. Well, I mean, assuming you want to spend $2K for a box. ARK has been hot, as we noted back here. It's running at 100 a box. It's the highest in unlimited, so it has a lot of demand. And first edition is kind of special. It's going to be hard to come by as these things dry up. But we'll see how that goes. And obviously, WTR first was Alpha, which was the shortest printed of I think all the products. Actually, I think that was the least number of boxes produced. But ARK seems to be a fan favorite to a degree, or at least the market indicates it is. All right. Monarch, no big change there. It did increase a little bit. It's kind of peaking out. It's at its top level, basically. Tales of Aria's up 8.6% to $93 for a first edition box. It's pretty good for Tales, but as we've seen, a lot of volatility. This is the seesaw action. Up and down, up and down, up and down, right? With a mean or median right in the middle there, between 90 and, we'll call it 93 and 85. It does look like the volatility is increasing this, so we want to keep an eye on that because that can lead to a breakout point where it either goes up or down pretty dramatically in the price action. So we'll keep an eye on that over the next coming weeks. WTR first edition case, nothing changed as usual. We'll go to Facebook. Don't trust these numbers. They're not worth anything. Same with ARK. Last week we noted that we hit this big number again suddenly, but it dropped back down. So unless this happens a few more times, I'm not really counting this as anything but anomalous data. It could be an early sign that these cases are disappearing, like there's not any left. But this is too early to call that, right? These could just be BS anomalous TCG player data, right? We shall see in a couple weeks, maybe even actually a couple months, honestly. If this stabilizes into a pattern of these kind of up and down dips, then we can start to say that, yeah, volume's drying up. People keep placing more on there because they see they can get that price for it, back and forth until it becomes stable at a higher rate because that's just what it is worth because there just isn't that much. But that's going to be a while. So again, keep an eye on it. Not too worried about it right now. And as far as I'm concerned, it's just noise, right? It's not worth making a strong statement on until we get more data. All right, Tales of Aria first edition cases dropped down. Spiked up 7.4% to 378. It looks like that's basically at its high, so that's good. It's hitting its high, but it was after a drop, so again, just reverting to the mean. We'll probably see that come back down next week, or if it follows the historic patterns. Let's see, 9% for Everfest, which is nice. Post dip increase, and it's a steady rate. We'll see on the charts in a second. 8.9% at 315, pretty cool. And then I have a couple notes down here. Don't pay this price. That's ridiculous. I know. Okay, so here's some things that people are missing that I've heard people talk about. There's going to be limited numbers of the first wave. If you read the marketing material itself, it explicitly says waves. So this first wave, yes, there's not going to be that many, but that doesn't mean there won't be plenty eventually, okay? So take your time on this product. You're not going to miss anything if you miss the first wave. There will be tons of it. Or rather, if you want the cards for playable, obviously pay what you're willing to pay to play, right? That's up to you. But if you're looking at this from a financial and collector perspective, this is not worth it. It is $140 MSRP. It's going to go down to that. We will have plenty of supply of this product eventually. It might not be right on day one, but who cares? These are just the same cards in white border that already exist and are relatively affordable with a few exceptions, tunics, etc., right? So this isn't going to be some special, like, there's only 100 of these. Like, this is just not a collectible thing. It's not supposed to be, and it will not be. There's going to be additional waves, and all of the prices on these cards are going to crater. So do not overpay for this product. They say it specifically in the marketing material. I think one of the problems that happens is people don't read the material. They just listen to a YouTuber. A YouTuber maybe misreads or misunderstands what they see, or whatever, they're speculating, right? I mean, we all do it. I do it too. But then that gets taken as gospel from LSS, and it's not. And then another person hears them say it, and then they repeat it or make it even bigger, right? And we keep getting in these situations where if you just read the product information, you'd understand that it's not that thing. I think a good example was the, what was it called? The carnival slot. Everyone lost their mind. It was going to be, this, that, and the other. And the marketing material was pretty clear. It was a bunch of trinkets. And so people were really, really disappointed when it wasn't the 5,000 different speculated things. And it's like that they never promised any of that. That was a YouTuber or, some personality that said that, and then everyone ran with it and got nuts. Don't run with it. Don't get nuts. This is not worth $359 a box. It's worth $140 or less because there's going to be plenty of them. That said, the first run will probably run out pretty quick because it did sound like they were going to do a limited first run. It's mostly to try to get new new LGSs into the market and help them have some supply of the older product, because current people that are currently signing up cannot get ARC from distribution anymore, right? So this is one way you can get ARC cards to a store that just signed up to be an LSS, shop. So there's going to be plenty of this product. I don't think there's any reason to hoard it or, act like it's a collectible. It is explicitly not. And this is from James White and the marketing material itself. So just take it like that. Yes, they'll be limited in the beginning because a lot of people will jump on them, but you just don't treat it like a collectible. It's not supposed to be. Interesting thing on the collectible side, the full art of Aether Wildfire is back down to its historic $75 price. So, question here. Anyone know? Was there a buyout group trying to spike the price? Is that how it ended up at where it was, over 100? I did hear that it was a shorter print than the other full arts, but that was just rumor. I never got that confirmed anywhere. So anyone out there know why that jumped for so long? It was like 3 or 4 weeks. It was over 100. And now it's back down to what it was pretty much since the release. So interesting little bit there. If it sticks with parity of the other full art cards, which have now dropped below 100, where they were pretty stable at 100, then this will probably drop even further. No guarantees on that, though, because, again, rumors of print shortage, things of that nature. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump to the charts. I'm actually liking these. I was messing with it a little bit, and it does feel like it shows the right kind of data that I want to look at. It gives good trending. Let me see if I can... Yeah, I might have to adjust how I record these so you can see it a little bit better. But anyways, WTR, this is unlimited case. Been on a slow decline, just kind of cooling off. I guess this is because of the oversupply for the WTR event that everyone was talking about. And then if we look at the box divided by 4, there is a bit of a arbitrage opportunity here. If you buy a case, you can crack open, and this is your average price per box, and then you can sell for this. Granted, with shipping, you're not making any extra money, so I'm not sure that that's actually worth it, but this will just keep us on track for, is there an arbitrage opportunity or not? Oh, this percentage didn't calculate correctly. Oh, yeah, it did. I'm sorry. That's right. The solid line is the price. The dotted line is the derivative price, so it's not tracking. The percentages aren't on the derivative price. ARC, steady climb on the cases, steady climb with some volatility way back here, but I think what we're going to see is just this continue up and to the right. We're seeing that there is a limited supply for it. It's 7% increase, which is nice. Again, these are all unlimited. Case of unlimited crew is steady state up to the right. Same with the box. This spiked here 10% as we see. Arbitrage opportunity is there. I believe this price for the box is $88, so you might be able to get that with shipping. It's almost a $10 arbitrage opportunity. If you can grab a case for cheaper than the kind of TCG low, that might work. So that's something to keep an eye on if you're trying to do that. Monarch. not too much here. Just kind of down and to the right, which we kind of expect of Monarch these days. We don't see a whole lot of upward action here. We are seeing this kind of U curve here. We'll see if it continues on the case level to go up, and then or if we kind of see a slow oscillation, which is probably more likely to be the thing until we get to a situation where we're out of supply. Again, this is unlimited, so can't expect too much from this. There's plenty of product on the market, generally speaking, except for ARK, apparently. Case of Tales of Aria, we're seeing the drift down, and now I guess it's going back up, but again, I expect these to go down, up, and we'll have like a little band of price action to keep an eye on for a breakout. Case arbitrage opportunity is gone. It really wasn't there even last week, so nothing surprising here. And then Everfest. Oh yeah, there's no Everfest Unlimited. All right, yeah. We'll find out. That one's going to be interesting to track, I think. Oh, and I am not tracking the historic boxes on this. I just don't think there's much value to that. Again, it's not a collectible product. We're not looking at price action. We're not looking to manage the market, trends and stuff like that. Boxes of WTR, as we said, it jumped up 20%. Let's see if it sticks. It may. It did feel more like an actual price rise as opposed to a volatility rise. But we'll find out next week if it reverts back. Let's keep an eye on that, though. That's worth watching because a 20% increase in 1 week is significant. Again, I don't think it's going to be 20% every week. There will probably be some up and down. Let's see if it goes down below 38.50. And then ARK. Yeah, nothing to really report here, just that weird price spike that it does. Yeah, nothing too special here. Crew is doing its thing. Down and to the right on Crew. This is that opportunity I was talking about. It's possible. Nothing too crazy there. Monarch, starting to see this U shape again. Oops, here we go, U shape again. Let's see if we get above these points, because I think this is kind of like the ceiling that we've seen in the past. So if we go higher going forward, even if it's a volatile, kind of increases up, down, going up, it'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks before we can draw any conclusions from that. This does look promising, though. This looks like the bottom of the decline. So we'll see. You see how this is what I'm looking for, this channel up, It'll be a volatile one. It'll be up and then down and up and down. But as long as this bottom is curving upwards, then we're kind of past the dip, All right, let's see. Tales of Aria. Volatility like crazy. Again, this is all around Starvo. I don't trust much of this. Let's see where it goes. This is going to take a month or two to really sort out. And you can see we're hitting these lows and highs all over the place. It's nutty. Let's just hold off on that one. I don't want to draw any conclusions. Same thing on this, on the box price, kind of same situation. Volatility does breed opportunity for arbitrage opportunities, so we might end up with a situation like that. So far not, but it might end up in a situation as the prices increase where you'll get a huge spike up on the individual box, but the cases haven't spiked yet, and then you can take advantage. It looks like people are staying on top of it because they're staying in relative relation. So people are taking advantage of arbitrage opportunities and doing it. Remember, these are single point price grabs. They are not an average over the week. So things are happening on each of these data points that we aren't visualizing here. I don't intend to increase the fidelity of this just because I don't think there's much value in it. But it does mean, what it shows is that because these are so aligned, somebody or people are generally buying the cases, selling the boxes, vice versa. Or I guess you can't vice versa, but to the degree that it's keeping the markets in alignment with these two right here. But it did decouple back here, right? So there are opportunities that pop up. So we'll keep an eye on that. Might be worth it. And then Everfest see, this is what I'm talking about. This is a healthy release, right? You got the hype, the spike, the dip, the drop, right? The hard drop, because there's almost always one of those. And then if you look at, ignore this data point, look at that curve. Look how clean that curve is to here. Imagine there's a line right there. That's the perfect, this is the swoosh. This is the swoosh that most TCG sets, Magic the Gathering does this all the time. Hype, release, dip, and then slow climb. That's what we want. I've said this before, Everfest felt like one of the healthier, releases. And this is what a healthy release looks like. And even with this drop, that's not unusual to have the bottom drop out at the bottom because everyone freaks out, or there's that excess supply and they're trying to get it off the shelves so they can get ready for the next set, that sort of thing. We will see more volatility. It's not going to be perfect, but this is a very healthy looking TCG release, if you ask me. And then here on the per box, a lot more volatility because you're talking individual boxes. They move a little easier, but same general thing. You're seeing the dip and the climb, right? So this one's interesting, though. Arbitrage opportunities do seem to pop up between the case and the box, so it might be worth some money if we get crazy spikes down or things like that allow this to make sense. Although with these price points, probably not. There's not going to be a big enough variance to make up for shipping and stuff. But if you can charge shipping straight through to the customer and actually get fully paid for it, it might make sense. That's kind of up to you. You have to make that decision for yourself. So that's it for the price update. As I said before, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button. We'd really like to see that number increase, or at least that ratio increase. And if there's any questions or anything I can help clarify, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Have a good one.